May you find happiness and peace, and may your home stand the test of time.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary. Today I'll be reacting to Charlie clash with students pushing free love. So without further ado, let's get started.
Yes, sir.
You were talking about like premarital sex and things like
Yes.
that, which I feel like is a great concept.
Yep.
But the question is, do you think men and women both having high body counts like is the same thing?
Good question.
They're both bad, but men deal with different sexual temptation than women. It's much easier for a woman to say no to sex than a man. Much
That's
easier.
true.
So which one do you think is worse?
It depends what I mean by what worse for them. It's actually worse for the female, psychologically.
Right.
Worse, like worse from an outside judgment standpoint. I mean, it's probably a tie. I mean, but they're worse for different reasons.
So
the man has a much harder time restraining sexual impulse than a female.
Right,
but it's also a fact that when a woman has a high body count, they become less desirable in the eyes of a man. I don't know if that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just reality.
That's true.
Right. So on the contrary to that, if a man is a virgin, especially in the generation we live in,
Yes.
why are we not like if you're a virgin, are you going to be respected as a man?
I was.
I'm right, but
I was a virgin until I got married.
right, but think about the majority.
I had a pretty good life and good career.
Like career, yes,
But also, why are you sharing your sexual behavior with people? Like, that's weird. Like, why is it their business that you're a virgin or not? Like,
I mean,
that's like, who cares?
I agree with you. I agree.
But
with
like,
you
if
100%.
is the argument that you have sex because you might be like called a virgin? Like, yeah, I don't have STDs. Go to hell. Like, okay.
No, I completely agree with you. But like the fact
I
is,
hear the social pressure argument.
Like the social pressure is, it's like if a man is a virgin especially in this dating market, right? Like,
yeah, I think that's unbelievably attractive to women.
I disagree.
I
My wife's
disagree.
pretty beautiful.
Right.
Right? Like, she's pretty desirable.
Right.
Would you guys agree? Yeah, Erica's pretty beautiful. I'll just tell you that if a man or a woman remains a virgin, you become insanely attractive in a time when everyone else has been shared.
Okay.
It's not easy. I understand that we live in a hypersexualized culture. I'm not even shaming people. I know it's difficult. But if you commit yourself to it, you should be platformed as a desirable, way to live. And again, I'm not here to humiliate. Everyone struggles and everyone has, maybe today though, if you could rededicate yourself to that way of life, it's a beautiful thing.
But okay, so then again, does the innocence of being a virgin as a man,
Yeah.
like, lower his masculinity?
No, it
Because-
actually increases his masculinity.
Wow.
Actually, yeah, if you remain a virgin, that means that you have so much self-control over your animal instincts that you're like the most badass man. It's easy not to be a virgin. It's hard to be a virgin.
That's true.
Masculinity is doing the hard stuff, not the easy stuff. Like, I have zero respect for a 17-year-old. It's like, bro, I have all this sex with people. Like, yeah, you're nothing more than a rabbit.
Yeah. No,
Like, good for you.
Again,
Like, control yourself.
Again, but doesn't it also come down to, if innocence raises femininity and makes a woman more attractive, wouldn't it do the opposite for a man?
No, I'm saying it actually makes the man more attractive. I think virginity makes both sexes more attractive. I'm not arguing for, there's some people that are like, men should have as much sex as they want and women shouldn't. I think both should save themselves for marriage. But it's a fact that, and it's not a good fact, that if women do have a high body count, men do not find that to be attractive.
That's
Right,
true.
that's a fact.
That's a fact.
I completely agree with
Yeah, and so I'm just thinking,
I just don't agree
I don't
with the
like
opposite.
the fact.
Yeah,
but
I just don't agree with the opposite.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, but I hear all the time from young women, why can't I find a man? Well, because you've been sleeping around for the last
100%,
decade.
yeah, 100%.
I hear from men, why are there no good women? Well, because the women are, pseudo prostitutes, most of them, in the area.
Yeah. No, again,
And you
that's
say,
fair.
Charlie, that's not fair. What is OnlyFans?
It's not fair.
online prostitution. How many of you guys know girls that have OnlyFans accounts? All of you.
Wow.
So you all know hookers. That's what it is.
How to pay for ASU?
Welcome to ASU. But,
What?
Spot on. I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
We all got friends who probably like sleep around.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to shame anyone that does that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to challenge you to be better. I want to be very clear.
Do you think that's a lost cause? For,
No,
friendship? Like,
anyone can change at any time. I would look, if someone who's sleeping around all the time, deep down they probably are mentally tormented. If they're a man, I guarantee they're going to be accused of rape at any time by some girl that wakes up and has a different version of events. And in today's life, that could destroy your life, right? You could have an STD, and or like you have just cheapened the sacred, the holy, right? You have something holy. Why share it with like every random person at ASU, right? Save it for your soul partner. Save it for the person you want to send for the rest of your life. Not easy, but the fulfilling life is for those people that do hard stuff, not easy stuff.
Well, both are hard. You have to choose your difficult.
Yes, it's a difficult path to say no to hookup culture.
Yeah.
It's a difficult path. I get it, but it's also insanely fulfilling.
How do you get friends to see like sex as more sacred? I feel like
it's hard. I mean, it's just they look at it through a highly pornified, sexualized lens.
Okay, I think I love this about Charlie. I just love his sincerity, you know, because whatever he's saying, if you check the Bible, it's the truth. You know, the Bible said we should save ourselves for marriage. And the Bible said if you can't, like, abstain from sex, get married. So I feel like whatever he said is true. But, you know, the society we find ourselves today, it is very difficult for you to see people, you know, that will get to a certain age, you know, marriageable age and still pure. You know, I don't mean they are not there, they are there. But it is just hard. Like the way the society, okay, let's say internet is making everything accessible. You know, you see beautiful ladies out there every day, you see cute guys out there every day. Now we have OnlyFans, unlike back then. So now it's like they're making this immorality kind of accessible. And when he was being asked the question, if let's say both girl and a guy has high body counts, does anyone feel like kind of, I feel if both gender have high body count, as a guy, well, I would not want to date a lady with high body count. You know, I feel it leads to high experience and so many other things. That does not mean that as a guy it is advisable to have like high body count. You know, sleep with anything you see. But you know, to me, I feel it's better for the lady to feel a little bit reserved. You know, but I'm trying to reserve myself too. So if I'm reserving myself, then I meet a lady that has a very high body count, I won't feel like it's worth it. I think I'll prefer my lady to be, I'm not asking you to come to me as a virgin, but at least have some dignity and keep yourself a bit like. Anyway, this is a beautiful one. I enjoy the angle Charlie's coming from. If it's possible for you to abstain from it, abstain from it. If it's not possible, then get married. I know some of us may not be financially capable of getting married. We may not be matured enough to settle down. But if we are to have sex, it is advisable, okay, to have sex the right way. Anyway, the advice also goes to me. That is the truth. But let's just continue and see how this video unfolds, guys.
Yeah, even so with the hookup culture thing, like I think that's a great point. I mean, it's very unrealistic, especially in the generation we were in today.
It might be unrealistic, yeah.
Right. So, but even if, right, you don't just date a girl to marry her, right? You gotta.
You should.
You should.
Okay.
That's where I'm
Right,
like,
okay.
we got everything messed up.
Right,
and
but-
I know it's hard. But.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to commit to anything like too seriously before you know completely know the girl first, correct?
Well, yeah, but you shouldn't even date without the intention to marry.
That's true.
Dating is not recreational. It's not for sex. It should be with the intent to find a soulmate.
That's like
So-
studying for an exam.
Yeah, you're just spending
Right.
money on her just to
Talk to them before you
get some
take them
food?
on a date. Get
Yeah,
to
I
know
mean,
them.
but it's like, again,
Why
if
would
you...
study for an exam that doesn't
Right,
exist?
but for me personally, if I'm gonna, if I'm no, listen, if I'm dating a girl, right, I would want to be in a relationship with her for at least 3 years before marrying her, because you would need to understand compatibility
You just
between
prove
two
that
people.
you do have the intent to marry because
Oh,
you're
100%,
3 years
yeah.
ahead.
No, okay, that's fine. Yeah, but
Right.
I mean, then therefore
Yeah.
you shouldn't even go on the first date without in your head, I'm looking for flags or things that.
Right.
And then, for
Vetting.
example, if you say to myself, I will never marry someone of another religion. Perfectly respectable thing for any religion, right? And you happen to be dating somebody of a different religion just for the sex and the companionship, that's, I think, immoral. You're leading her on. You're leading yourself on.
Yes.
The whole thing is screwed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So-
like a placeholder. The whole thing's
Yeah.
screwed
So
up.
dating to intend to marry, I think, is a good virtue, but also at the same time, if you don't want to commit to marriage too quickly in a relationship, isn't intimacy a big part of a relationship? So why would you save yourself for marriage?
You should save yourself for marriage. That's a great question.
Even in a committed relationship.
100%, yes, yes, without a doubt. Because the sacred should only be shared with the person when the vows are shared. In the ideal, I know that's unrealistic, okay? But it's hard for a generation that's so sexualized to get this. But to describe how awesome it is to not have to worry that your partner had to share that with somebody else and you didn't have to share it, that's not on. It can happen because your grandfather's generation and great-grandfather's generation lived that, and they lived happier and better lives. It can be done, right? Where you're both not wondering, am I living up to a previous partner? You know, am I thinking about a different partner? And by the way, with women in particular, the studies show there is there's a chemical, there's an attachment that young ladies have as soon as they have sex with somebody, and it's very hard for young women to overcome that, right? Right. And that's where you sometimes get like ex-girlfriend syndrome. It's honestly understandable. Like biologically, they're not wired to have 15 partners, right? Yeah. Men, on the other hand, have a much easier time moving on from one partner to the other, but they should restrain their animal impulse.
Yeah, I just think it comes down to the time period at the end.
No, but we should speak out against. But we should say, okay, just because it's hard doesn't mean we shouldn't set the standard. It's possible, right? Yeah, there's pressure. Yeah, there's external stuff, and there's evidence to show that we can move public opinion. I'll prove it to you, okay? So, how many of you guys know people that smoke tobacco regularly? How many of your friends? Would you say a majority or a minority? A majority smoke tobacco. Like cigarettes?
Yeah.
Minority.
Minority?
Yeah.
That's surprising. Okay, well my point would have been, I'm not even talking about vaping or marijuana. That's a separate issue. But if you would have went to a college campus in the 70s, I would have saw a lot of kids with cigarettes. I don't see that very often. Maybe you guys are going to tell me wrong. We moved public opinion on cigarettes. Now, unfortunately, we now replaced it with other things. But you can get people to change behaviors, is what I'm saying. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. And we should try to challenge young men to not have sex with everything that moves.
Wow.
Yeah, again, that goes down to hookup culture, but I think at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm in a committed relationship with a girl.
That's a better moral standard, you're right.
Right, better moral standard.
I agree, but it's not the ideal.
You're saying the ideal is marriage.
Of course it is, yes, and I think we all need to acknowledge that there is an ideal. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult, right? And again, I will go back to the approach. You took that sex and ethics course you mentioned previously, which is you need to eat to survive. You need to drink to survive. You do not need to have sex to survive. You don't. You're tempted towards it, you're drawn towards it, but you will not die, right? Right. And so I actually think it creates stronger men and women with a better ability to find their place in the world, less depression, more purpose. And by the way, all the studies show this, that couples that save themselves for marriage, they have like far less rates of alcoholism, far less rates of domestic abuse. And it could be a sampling error because you're like, oh, it's not fair because those are the people that actually have more disciplined lives. Or maybe did they develop discipline by saying no to the thing that they were most tempted to do?
Wow. Guys, this is why I love Charlie. You see, his camp, he's just telling us the undiluted truth. You know, the truth majority of us don't want to hear. You know, we want to roll with people that will massage our ego, that will tell us things that we're already doing, you know, that will make us feel comfortable with, you know, the lifestyle we are living. But that is not Charlie. Charlie's telling you, if this is bad, it is bad. And I think that last point he made, you know, broke the camel back. He said, it is better for both couples, you know, to have less partners before they get married, because, you know, you don't enter the marriage with this damaged self. Like, kind of, you are finding way to pick errors, you're finding way to hold offense, you're finding ways to quarrel because of past experience, you know, because of the trauma that, you know, your previous relationship have put you through. And I just love it. I love it because this is the undiluted truth. I think this video needs to be played for a whole lot of people, a whole lot of youth, a whole lot of teenagers, especially people entering their puberty stage. You know, they need to watch this. They need to see the undiluted truth about life, about marriage, about why abstinence is good. Yeah, even if some of us have crossed the wrong path, but that does not mean that we can't retrace our step. He said, you won't die if you don't have sex, unlike food that if you don't eat, you die. But as far as you decide to abstain yourself from it, you won't die. It's just that urge that will come for a short while. And after that, it will cease. It shows that you can withstand anything. And as a guy, if you have a good like sex control, it will save you from a whole lot, like a whole lot. And I believe him, because the rate of sexually transmitted diseases out there is increasing. So I feel we all need to listen to Charlie, because by abstaining from it, we definitely will not catch this majority of the sexually transmitted diseases. That is the truth. So it's like we are using our hand to put ourselves in trouble. And I love this. I love this sincerity. I love this undiluted truth from him. And I think I wish I got this message years ago, because I think my life would have been in a different shape by now. But this is beautiful. I love the truth in this. I just love the sincerity. And I love the fact that he was able to abstain himself till he got married. And I know it's not an easy job, especially for the men out there today, especially for myself. I know it's not an easy job. Some of us are fall short of it. And I think what Charlie is saying is not too late. It's not too late to keep yourself for the right person. And when you date with the mindset of getting married. Don't date with the mindset of just having sex. He made a statement. He said, if you are dating this lady and you are the kind of guy that wants to marry in your religion, and you decide to date someone that is not in your religion, you end up wasting that person's time. And that is what Charlie don't want. You know, don't waste the person's time. If you're dating, date with the mindset of getting married to the person. That is the sincere truth. Because if you date with the mindset of getting married to this person, you don't want to hurt the person you want to get married to. You want everything good to happen to that person. So now you try your possible best to make sure that whatever you are doing for the betterment of that person. Anyway, there's a beautiful one. I love this, and I want to see more videos from Charlie. If you have any recommendation, let me know in the comment section. It is the first time visiting the channel. Click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remain blessed.